Okay, so today we're doing pulls. There are three types of pulls. There's upright row, bent over row, and a chin up or a pull up type exercise. There are three directions in which your upper body moves, whether it's a push or a pull. You could pull horizontally, you could push horizontally. You could pull overhead, you could push overhead. You could pull from the bottom upwards, you could push from the top downwards. So those are your three angles. You understand? Arrow like this, you need directional arrow like that, you need directional arrow like that. So when we're doing pulls or push, that's basically the directions that we're moving. Let's start with something very simple. It's the most like a deadlift, and it is called a bent over row. So you're gonna approach your bar here, just like a Romanian deadlift. You grab the bar as such, get nice and sexy. Angry bus driver, newspaper in the armpit, knife in the back, cave diver breath. Open the pickle jar. Now from this position, you're gonna get into your start position. You're gonna take a deep breath in, bent over slightly, and the bar is gonna stop right below the knee. I'm basically in the position I would be in if I were doing a Romanian deadlift and just pausing here. This is your start and your stop position. From here, very simply, I shave my legs, bring the bar up to my chest, back down. Shave the legs, bar up to the chest, back down. That's 2, 3. And then you're done. Your options for your grip, typically you're gonna go wider, right? As a standard, the closer you go in, the more your form is gonna mess up. So I prefer as a standard, you go nice and wide. I'm putting my middle finger on the ring here. That's good for my height. That's it. Simple, go for it. Real simple stuff. Once again, let me stop you there. Just because you've learned the Romanian deadlift pattern and all that stuff, see how simple this is? I mentioned it yesterday. It's simple, okay? Same story over and over again. You're learning new movements. Go ahead. Approach the bar. So make sure your feet are equidistant. Great. So remember, don't look at me here. You're focusing on your own stuff. Knife in the back, newspaper in the armpit. If you look at me, you're gonna mess it up. Listen to what I'm saying. Knife in the back, newspaper in the armpit. Lean back, be a road bike, not a mountain bike. Good. There should be pressure here. You're being a lazy deadlifter. Take a nice deep breath in. Open the pickle jar with your feet. Good. Bend over. Pause the bar right here. Okay. Lower. Get lower. And now row it to your chest.
It's way too heavy.
It's not way too heavy. You have to push with your legs. 1. Drive with your feet into the ground. Okay, good. Put it down. So the problem you're experiencing here is that you're using your hands. This is not an arm exercise. It's a leg exercise. Everything's a leg exercise. Let me explain. Stand right over here. If you're here like this, and as you pull this up, there isn't an equal and opposite force going down, you're not going to be stable. You're going to have difficulty doing it. Your brain is going to say, hey, this is heavy, just like you said it's heavy. You think it's heavy, but it's because you're not using perfect technique. When you get in position here, you're grabbing this bar. I go down. Look at my breath. And what I'm doing here is I'm pushing my feet to the ground. That's the first thing I'm doing is I'm pushing my feet into the ground, followed by a pull with my hands. So my legs are actually allowing me to begin the movement. Your legs, the driving force of your legs into the ground are what allows you to pull with your arms. Okay? Go ahead. I'm not crazy. This is truth. More aggressively this time, okay? Knife in the back, newspaper in the armpit. Go. 1. More power. 1, 2, there you go. And 3. You have to shave those legs. Good. Put it down. So in the third one there, you did not shave your legs.
No.
Okay? The bar rolls away, make sure you just grab it. If you don't shave your legs, what happens? There's 7 times more pressure on your lumbar spine. your body says, your brain says, oh, that's too heavy for me, it's too unstable, I'm going to shut off my arms and my legs in order to protect my spine. You must shave the legs, whether it's a squat, a deadlift, push, a pull. The bar is moving in alignment with your shins when you're doing that kind of motion. It's about keeping your center of gravity over the middle of your foot. If your center of gravity is too far forward, you fall forward. Too far backward, you fall backward. Let me do it again, and then you're going to go up. I want to see you do it with much more aggression this time, okay? Aggression is key. Here I am. I want to hear and see the same thing. I want to hear you go, yeah, well, that means you're doing it. Cave diver breath equals stability. Go ahead. You're not shaving your legs. That's your first mistake. 1. Shave those legs. 2. Drive with the feet. Push through the feet. 3. Good. Put it down. Keep that bar stable. Keep it stable for me. Good. That's a bent over row. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Mm-hmm. Is a bent over row a pull like this, or like that?
Like this?
No, it's like this.
Okay.
I'm bent over. It's horizontal. Okay. Always think in those 3 directions. Arrow this way, and that way. Okay, that's all you're doing. If you imagine those 3 arrows, you're going to remember all the moves. Each one has a name. Bent over row is pretty straightforward. You're bent over row. You say, what's a bent over row? Oh, I'm bent over and I'm rowing. What's an upright row? I'm upright and I'm rowing. What's a chin up pull up? Chin up pull up. We're going to do that later. Let's do an upright row, okay? For the upright row, I'm going to remove some weight for you. They're very difficult. So I'm placing my thumbs here near the knurling. Again, in a Romanian deadlift position. I stand up. Now in this position, I get in a ready stance, right? I'm just here as if I'm going to do another Romanian deadlift. Take a nice deep breath in. And what's the first thing I do? Do I pull up or do I push down? Push down. I push down with the feet. All movement begins with the feet. So if you're doing an upper body exercise, it's an illusion to think that the movement is initiated with your upper body. It's always initiated with the ground. Why? Because you're a terrestrial creature. You live on the planet Earth. And as long as you're attached to the ground, as long as you're in a field of gravity, you must move from the ground. This is why an astronaut cannot do an upright row, right? Right?
Right.
You get it? Good. So here I am. 1. There's a story here. It's a sexual story. You ready for it? You're Barbara. You're going on vacation, having a little bit of difficulty in the marriage with your husband that you met in the club. And so you decide to go out to New Orleans with your girlfriends. It's Mardi Gras, and you want to have a good time. So you're on the streets of New Orleans, and Bourbon Street, I believe is what it's called, the party street. And everyone's going crazy, and you're wearing a really nice silk blouse, and you look really good, and you're all there with your friends. You're all looking hot. And some guys rudely on the balconies are yelling, "Show us, flash us your, all right, you know what I'm saying? Okay. I don't know if kids are watching this, so, and you're like, oh man, I really want to earn some beads. I really want to get those necklaces, but I don't want to ruin my blouse. I don't want to flash the audience and tear my beautiful silk blouse. So you grab your blouse very gently, and you look at the audience. You look at the guys there. They're ready to toss you those beads. And very slowly and delicately, with a smile on your face, you lift up and you show them the girls, and you let it back down. And that's what an upright row is, okay? Yeah. Easy to remember, that's all that matters. So now, when you do this movement, a lot of people mess this movement up. And it's very simple. They're not thinking of that story. If you just think of that silly story and get into character, the character is a hot, sexy woman with a silk blouse. You're lifting it up and you're trying to look sexy. If you do that, you'll do it right. If you don't get into character, you'll do it wrong. So no one in the gym is going to know that you're thinking of this stuff, okay? You just think about it to yourself, and you do that, and it's gonna look good. Trust me. And I'll know if you're not thinking about it when you do your part. So I'm gonna do it again using the storyline. Here I am. And you notice that my elbows are what's leading the movement, and my hands are just relaxed, straight down. I'm not doing this, okay? 3. Your turn, but I'm gonna remove this plate. Why don't you remove that plate for me? Okay. 1, I got it, it's okay. 2, all right, you're all set. Show me what you got. Grab the bar, you shave the legs with the bar too. Make sure your hands are equidistant. It looks like, okay, go ahead. Okay, good. Now I want you to imagine what I told you to imagine, okay? Because it's gonna activate your muscles differently. Stick your chest out more. Good, take a nice deep breath in. Okay, but get your breathing in check here, okay? You're taking a nice deep breath in. Feet, good, you gotta start with your feet. One more. Great, put it back down, okay? So I'll show it again. Get to where I was. Now, that was well done, okay? This bar is too light for you. What's gonna happen is as you increase the weight, your form is probably gonna break down. If you don't start thinking of the imagery, you're gonna get to that plateau and you're gonna have a bad program in your brain about it. So use the imagery right away. I could tell you weren't using it. You know how I could tell? You weren't doing what you were supposed to do with your feet and your legs, okay? Your chest wasn't out enough. If you use the imagery, as silly as the story is, if you just use the imagery, you'll have perfect form. That's why this is my technique. That's why I do these cues. It's not to sound funny or ridiculous, it's because it works. So again, look how I place my thumbs over there, right, to get my grip. Sticking my butt out a bit, the Romanian deadlift style, opening the pickle jar with my feet. I'm thinking about that situation, Mardi Gras, I want to earn those beads. You're up. You are up. Think of it. I'm going to know if you're thinking about it. It's going to look better. Drive with your feet. Your feet is what starts the movement. It's
I don't get it.
so your feet is
Yeah.
what allows you to pull upwards. Stay over here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Equal and opposite forces. You have to push down in order to pull up. All right?
At the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
All movement starts with your feet. If you were floating in space now, you'd have difficulty doing this, right? It'd be strange. It would feel awkward. The fact that your feet are anchored into the ground is what gives you stability. So you push off with your feet to counteract the force of this bar moving.
Okay.
Much better, okay? But now more of a breath and pop. Show the girls. Yes! Ah, you did it well now and you felt it, didn't you? One more. Okay, good. Put it down. Any questions?
No.
Pretty straightforward. We have chin up, pull up next. And we're gonna have to get the equipment for that. So, we've done a pull in this direction called a bent over row, right? Like so, across the chest. We've done an upright row. What's left is pulling from top down, which is a chin up or a pull up. What's the difference between a chin up or a pull up? A chin up, you have your hands like this because you're scratching your chin. A pull up is you pulling yourself up over a wall, right? You never say, I chin up over a wall. You say, I pull myself up over a wall. So that's how you know. If it's a wall, you pull yourself up. If you have to scratch your chin, you do that. It's just an easy way to remember. Sometimes people forget. So here's what I'll start with a pull up. Here's what it looks like. All right, now, for some people, they won't be able to do a pull up body weight. But I'm doing angry bus driver, newspaper in the armpit, knife in the back. I have a thumbless grip here. It doesn't really matter what you do. Pull up, back down. Pull it up, back down. Okay, my chest is reaching towards the bar. Back down, okay? Now, for yourself, most people don't have the strength required to lift themselves up over the bar more than one time. So, what I want you to do is put your foot right over here, like this, helping yourself come up. I want you to relax completely at the bottom. And you're gonna use your right leg here to push yourself up. Just barely, just enough to get to the top, and then you're gonna come back down. All right? I want you to give that a try. And we're gonna make adjustments accordingly, according to the difficulty level. Yeah, grab the bar. Now, go ahead. Just grab it and hang, okay? Good. Now hang down. You have to be hanging. Great. Now, hang. So bend your knee. Bend your left knee. Just hang.
Okay.
Good. Okay, now you're hanging in this position. Using the force of your right leg, you're gonna pull yourself up and your right leg is gonna help you. Go ahead. Okay, and you notice that you're too short to get any higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So go back down, step off it. We're gonna make an adjustment for your height. That's why I told you to get these. So we're gonna use them. One. The idea is that with your leg fully extended, you'll be able to go all the way to the top. So now it's gonna look more like this. Foot over here. 1, 2, and 3 later on. Go ahead. One foot there. Put your foot in the middle of the plate. More. There you go. Now, hang. Remove this foot from the ground. Lift it completely off the ground. No, not your arms. Okay. Remove this foot from the ground.
Okay.
Bend your knee all the way up. Okay. There's no need for it to be. There you go. Take a nice deep breath in. Pull up. 1. There you go. You're doing pull-ups as a woman. Go ahead. 2. Okay, and you're working these muscles. Knife in the back, newspaper in your armpit. 3, you want to feel these little muscles right here. Good. Perfect. Stand right over here. I want you to be the trainer for a second. And when I'm doing these pull-ups, I want you to put your hands right on over here, okay? There's the attachments for my latissimus dorsi right over here, my lower lats and my erectors. I want you to take your hands and I want you to touch one side and the other side like this. And I want you to feel a contraction. Go ahead.
Over here?
No, with one hand. Stand off to my left. Stand over here. Put one hand on my back right now. Good. And I want you to press on these muscles. Those 2 muscles should contract if you're doing this correctly. So here I am. You feel them contracting?
Yeah.
Press harder. Okay? That's
Okay, yes.
a proper contraction. That's what you're trying to get when you're doing this movement. When you're doing this movement, you're doing the angry bus driver, newspaper in your armpit, knife in the back, and you're pulling down. If you're doing the angry bus driver story, you're going to contract those muscles. If you don't do the angry bus driver story, you're not going to contract the muscles. You're only going to work your arms, not your back. The point is to work your back first. Please go again. This time I want to feel the contraction. And this is a pull-up. Great. Hang down first, beautiful. And big pull. 1, beautiful, I felt it. 2, one more. And 3, perfect, done. You got it, we're almost done now. So that's a pull-up. What does a chin-up look like? A chin-up is when you scratch your chin. So same thing, but your hands are gonna be like this, a little bit more narrow. Same principle. Here you go. I prefer pull-ups over chin-ups if you had to choose between the 2. And 1, 2, my chest is trying to touch the bar here. 3, that's your standard chin-up. Your turn.
Here?
A little bit closer, I'd say, yeah. Now hang down. Take a nice deep breath in. Angry bus driver, newspaper in your armpit. 1, I want to feel it a bit more. Really torque that bar. 2, and finally 3, go all the way down, fully extend your arms. Good. Stand right over here. So, one of the biggest mistakes people make when doing a chin-up or a pull-up is they don't do it in a full range of motion. Full squeeze, full extension or relaxation. You should get to the top, the bar should be able to touch your chest. All right, and you're using this platform here to ensure that you have perfect range of motion, you have perfect technique. It's okay that you're using this. What'll end up happening over time is that you'll put less and less pressure using that leg consistently, and eventually you won't need it. And then you're gonna be able to do your first chin-up, and it's only gonna get better from there. So let me demonstrate one more time. I'm gonna demonstrate in a chin-up again. I'm hanging. I'm fully relaxed at the bottom. This is what I say this is what I mean when I say hang. I'm hanging like this. Pull all the way up, full squeeze, all the way down. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. I want to see you do one more time. All the way up, all the way down. And now using even less pressure with your leg than before. Consider that your progression. Fully hanging first. Lift that leg up. Okay, fully hang now. Fully hang, good, go ahead. 1, big squeeze all the way down. 2, go all the way down, all the way, more. Good, and up. That's it. 3, that's what really activates your lower back. Perfect, okay? That's it. Those are the pulls. Chin up or pull up, bent over row, and upright row.